We're here in Reykjavík, Iceland, at a startup called Laki Power in some wonderful weather. What we're going to find out today is actually really critical considering what we're seeing around us. When your energy is taken to you, it goes through so many transmission lines. It's carried across the country. Storms, rain, wind, all sorts of things can impact that. So what we're here to find out today is how a piece of technology being developed here in the Icelandic capital can help to change that and protect your energy demands. Icelandic startup Laki Power began as all interesting innovations do. An idea from tech whiz Oscar Valterson in his garage that has transitioned into a possible product on the global energy market. We don't take the time to think about pylons carrying our energy to us, but Oscar did, and realised that protecting these transmission lines is not just critical in keeping costs down, but also in keeping the lights on worldwide.
I was working in the power industry for many years, and often we had the task to install some kind of measuring devices along the power lines. But the main problem installing such devices was that we didn't have any power. Even though we had, a lot of power in the lines, we couldn't tap into it.
The key differentiator for us is our power harvesting technology. So our monitoring stations are built so that we can harness the energy within the conductors themselves. We generate over 100 watts of power, and that's enough to energize cameras and sensors that are continuously on, can communicate, on a very frequent basis. And so the power grid operators just have a continuous situational awareness, a lot of data and images to give them the information they need to keep the power running and keep the current running through those lines.
So most often we had to install diesel generators or solar cells, and they are not reliable. Windmills, they don't function in Iceland because the weather tears them out. So that's the main reason I saw this opportunity of making a power harvesting device to tap into the lines safely.
I think in general, major trends are electrification, so more use of electricity. Renewable energy sources like wind and solar are being added to the power grids across the world. It just means that you have to build more transmission lines. So overhead transmission lines, we're going to see them. We're going to see more of them. We're going to see them double or triple over the next 20, 30 years to move all of that energy from sources where you have wind and solar to where you're consuming that energy. And with more transmission lines just come, and extreme weather events come more frequent occurrences where you can have potential outages. And I think that monitoring equipment like we make will just be a core component of keeping things up and running on the grids.
What I see in the coming years are we are selling a lot of units, but I think the main focus in this company will be the software side. So we will provide a very analytic platform, software platform, for the customers to use the data we gather.
We received funding from public sources, both here in Iceland from the Icelandic Technological Fund and from their Horizon 2020 program from EU funding. We received a grant of 2.1 million euros from the Horizon 2020 program. Sources of public funding like that for a startup of our nature that's dealing with customers that are running critical infrastructure, a long sales process. It's really key for us as we get started and do the initial testing and product development. So it's been really important to get along the way, and now we're moving from being in R&D to commercial relationships with our customers, and so it's been an interesting journey.